Since getting into content creation, one of the biggest adaptations to my life has been being confined to just one space. This room right here is where all of my equipment is, my PC, microphone, camera. In order to create my content, I'm confined to the space of this room. I've been trying my best to balance being away from home, away from this room, and still being able to put in the time to create content. So it's a simple solution, right? I need a laptop, ideally a 6 or 8 core processor, and preferably a dedicated graphics card for doing things like editing videos, making thumbnails. But it's always nice to have the opportunity, should I spend like a weekend or even a week somewhere else away from home, it's nice to be able to still game and possibly live stream while I am away. Not only that, this room gets incredibly warm due to all the monitors, lighting, and the PCs that are running. So sometimes I don't even just want to leave the house. Sometimes I just want to go in a separate room that may be a little bit cooler, or I may want to go put my feet up on the couch. And having something that's capable of doing nearly everything that my main PC can sure would be a luxury. Problem solved. Well, not quite. Because to get a laptop that is powerful enough to do pretty much everything that my $2,000 PC can do isn't going to be cheap. So, with not a lot of disposable income and the need for a powerful enough laptop, I went deal hunting. I needed a CPU that could handle pretty much everything you could throw at it. I needed a dedicated graphics card that could edit a video and occasionally run the odd AAA title. Now, initially, I was looking at 17-inch displays because I kind of wanted as much screen real estate as possible while on the go. But there's a couple of problems. 17-inch laptops tend to be quite a bit more money than 15-inch or 16-inch laptops. And also, I was considering the size as well. I would be carrying this thing around in a backpack whenever I'm on the go, and I'll be balancing it on my arm as I'll be walking up and down stairs. So having a more compact laptop did actually make sense. Number one, I'd save $200 over one with the same specs but a 17-inch screen, and it would be a little bit easier to carry around and fit in a backpack. I came across two laptops and decided on the MSI Katana A15. Including shipping, I think the whole thing cost me less than $850. And what we ended up with was a 15.6-inch display laptop with a 1080p screen, but it is 144 Hz. It's got a Ryzen 9 processor, 8 cores, 16 threads, and an RTX 4070. I wanted an NVIDIA GPU simply because they are more widely available in laptops. It's actually very difficult to find a modern AMD GPU in a laptop unless you go for the integrated APUs. But I wanted that onboard encoder. And having options like RTX voice will certainly help me out when I don't have a professional grade microphone to speak into. It only came with 16 gigabytes of RAM, but it was quite cheap to upgrade this to 32 gigabytes, which is the same amount of RAM that I run in my desktop PC. Only the difference is this is DDR5 in the laptop, not DDR4, and it's running at 5600 megahertz. And it came with 1 terabytes of storage, which is plenty because I do carry around a portable 2 terabyte SSD for storing and transferring files. Now, this is a second-hand unit, but the laptop doesn't actually look like it's really had any use at all. Normally, the first thing is the trackpad. Tend to get that shiny area right in the center where somebody's kind of just been rubbing their finger for the last 6 to 12 months. And you can also notice this kind of thing on keys as well. When somebody's been tapping a select few keys quite a few times, they tend to go a little bit shiny on the top. But this laptop is in extremely good condition. It looks like it's barely had any use at all. So I am super happy with that. And when I was upgrading the RAM, it was incredibly clean on the inside. No noticeable dust buildup whatsoever. So this thing probably is borderline new. The screen is in perfect condition, no dead pixels, no marks, scratches, or anything like that. So I think I got a really, really good deal. And it does come with a 5-year warranty from the retailer that I purchased it from as well. So how well can this actually replace my desktop PC? Well, there's a couple of things that we've got to consider. Number one is I/O. This thing, as well as most of the laptops, don't particularly have the best set of I/O on the sides, certainly compared to a desktop PC. We've got 3 USB ports, only 2 of them are USB 3, One of them's USB 2. We've got a headphone combo jack, HDMI port, a USB-C port, which is Thunderbolt, so we can output a display. It does have a full-size Ethernet port as well, so that is definitely a must. And that is it, nothing else. So it's got the absolute essentials. Sure, there are other model laptops that do come with more I/O options, but this had just about everything that I needed, and it would have probably cost me another $100 to $150 to get something with more I/O options, which aren't entirely necessary. A couple of USB ports, Ethernet, and HDMI out, I'm pretty much sorted. So how well of a job does it actually do? Well, the screen on this thing actually quite impressed me, since actually a lot of other people out there rated this screen pretty poorly compared to other options, but I'm actually quite happy with it. It's pretty sharp. The brightness is certainly acceptable. In direct sunlight, it's probably going to have a little bit of glare, but I think it handles it in a respectable way. I've certainly seen worse laptops. The color accuracy is a little bit off, but I'm not too bothered about that. With the RTX 4070, I felt like this was a really, really good balance. If I'm just gaming, just by tweaking the settings and turning a couple of things down to low, I can get a very similar experience on this laptop than I do on my desktop. And especially since it's a 40 series card, it does have access to frame generation from NVIDIA. But I found in the end that I didn't even need to use that. And for competitive FPS, I probably would never use it anyway. I'd sooner take lower FPS over the system latency that frame generation can cause. But I don't need it. And the 4070 has plenty of rasterization power to run the games that I play without struggling. Not only that, I have been running OBS in the background recording. I am yet to try a live stream on it, but I imagine it's going to handle it just fine. Gaming and recording at the same time is no issue. There's a very slight FPS drop, but it's still just about meeting the refresh rate of the monitor of the laptop. Again, I could probably do a little bit more tweaking and even enable that frame generation to boost that even further. This laptop runs so cool as well. So especially in the summer months, this thing is great. It does get loud, but I would certainly take a noisy laptop over something that's running way too hot. You generally have a laptop quite close to you, unlike a desktop PC, which you can have a couple of feet away. So a laptop is usually very, very close to you, sometimes even on your lap. So if this thing is reaching 70, 80 degrees Celsius on the GPU, your legs are going to get toasty. But this thing runs way cooler than that, and it's super impressive. So I'm really happy with that. The keyboard, despite it being a very typical laptop keyboard, feels actually quite nice. I've never really got along with laptop keyboards very well, just due to them having like really flat keys. It's not something that I'm particularly used to. I do like a normal kind of mechanical keyboard with the really thick keys with the curve. So yeah, typing on a laptop keyboard is not the kind of most natural thing to me. But these keys are quite large, which I do really like. It does have a number pad, but it's very small. So it's there if you need it. It's got arrow keys, and the rest of the keys are all quite large. So again, I'm getting along with this one just fine. And for a laptop, I don't think this keyboard is really much to complain about. The trackpad, on the other hand, is absolutely awful. I do want to carry around a mouse with me whenever I take this thing somewhere, as the trackpad is awful to use. It does the job just fine, and it's not the trackpad itself, it's the clicking. So I feel like I'm kind of squishing the laptop when I'm clicking, and it's just got a lot of bounce to it. Trackpads in general are just not my favorite thing to be using. So I'm going to use a mouse where I can. The trackpad's just there for when absolutely necessary. Now, for something that is portable, I'm definitely going to be wanting to carry around the charger pack with me at all times, because the battery life on this thing sucks. But that's not really just this laptop. This is any laptop that packs any kind of power like this one. In fact, some laptops that don't have as much performance potential also do have pretty poor battery lives. I can potentially get up to 4 hours of productivity out of this thing, but it's going to be pretty dead by that time. So really, the ideal use for the battery is simply just to keep the thing alive while I'm transporting it from one place to another. But I knew this well ahead of time already, and I was just willing to accept that. Now, in terms of streaming, I'm definitely going to be wanting to carry around my smartphone with me to use as a webcam, because the webcam on this thing sucks. It is so bad. I actually forgot how bad webcams are on laptops. They really, really do put no effort into them whatsoever. But again, I've always got my smartphone with me, and there are ways of using that as a webcam. So if I really do need to, then that option's going to be available. Overall, I'm quite happy with this thing. It's definitely hitting all the right marks. It's doing everything that I really need it to, so I can edit videos on the go, make thumbnails with ease, do a bit of gaming, and who knows, you might be able to catch me live streaming right off of this thing at some point in the future. And I think I got a great deal as well. Considering the condition, I would have gone with any other brand. I was even looking at another laptop, which was the Asus TUF 15 something or other. Very similar spec, but it ended up being a little bit more money, and I think it only came with like 8 gigabytes of RAM. This one ended up just being overall looking like a better deal, so this is the one that I went for. If you do have any questions or you want to see anything else about this laptop, then let me know in the comments below and I'll try and get that done for you. That's all the yapping from me today, though. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.